Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a really powerful book, Frank McCourt's Angela's Ashes. That Pulitzer winner became a massive bestseller, an instant classic, really.
It really did. And published back in '96, what's so striking is how it just plunges you into this very specific world limerick in the 30s and 40s, but all through a child's eyes. It's incredibly intimate, sometimes quite raw.
Yeah.
So our mission today, I think, is to unpack that emotional journey, look at why it resonated so much literarily, and also touch on those fascinating debates it stirred up about memory and truth in memoirs.
Okay, let's unpack that early life then. To really get Angela's Ashes, you have to start there. He's born in Brooklyn, 1930.
Hmm.
His parents, Malachi Sr. and Angela, are Irish immigrants.
Right, and Malachi Sr. is painted as this, well, charming storyteller, but also deeply flawed by alcoholism. Angela's holding things together.
And the poverty is just relentless right from the start.
It,
And then the tragedies,
Mm.
losing his baby sister Margaret, then later the twins, Oliver and Eugene. It's almost unbearable to read.
It is. And those losses are really what pushed the family back to Ireland, back to Limerick. They're searching for something better, I suppose.
Which they don't really find, do they?
No, not at all. And what's fascinating, as you mentioned, is Frank's perspective. He's just a kid observing all this hardship, the depression hitting Ireland hard, the family needing charity, like from the St. Vincent de Paul Society. It sounds humiliating.
Mm-hmm.
Living in this awful slum house, the ground floor flooding practically half the year. They called the levels Ireland and Italy,
Mm.
and just constant gnawing hunger.
But then there's that moment you mentioned, the hospital.
Yeah, a sort of turning point maybe. He gets typhoid when he's about 10. And the hospital, well, it's warm, there's food, and crucially, there are books, Shakespeare, stories. It's an escape.
An escape he desperately needed because
Yeah.
that brutal reality just keeps coming. His adolescence.
Wow.
He's basically forced into being the man of the house at 11.
Yeah, when his father goes off to England for work and the money just, well, stops arriving regularly, Frank has to get jobs, telegram boy, other things.
And the family dynamics are so complex, often degrading. His mother, Angela, the sacrifices she makes, even that difficult situation with Layman Griffin, her cousin, just for shelter.
It's incredibly stark. It shows childhood just being chipped away by poverty and necessity.
And it all leads to that final, almost mythic moment. He's not even 19, finds his moneylender, Mrs. Finnecane, dead. Takes some money
And destroys her ledger, wipes out the neighborhood debts. It's quite something.
and uses that money to finally get his ticket to America, breaking free.
It's powerful stuff. And connecting that to the literary world, I mean, the reception was immediate and huge. Extraordinary work, instant classic.
Right. Michiko Kakutani in the Times, praising the wit and compassion and grace. She said he conjured Limerick like Joyce did Dublin, lyrical but streetwise.
Exactly. And that's McCourt's genius, isn't it? Telling the story of utter misery from that child's viewpoint, often with humor, remarkably little bitterness or rancor, as some reviews noted.
Especially if you listen to him read the audiobook.
Mm-hmm. He turns it into this quintessential coming-of-age tale. It's what you might call his sentimental education, discovering poetry, girls, figuring out God, death, faith,
Mm.
all amidst the squalor.
But okay, here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit tricky. The book was hugely loved, but it also got significant pushback, right?
Mhm.
Especially from people in Limerick.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge part of its story. A lot of people from Limerick, including famously the actor Richard Harris, felt McCourt had exaggerated the poverty, the grimness.
Exaggerated how? What were the specific claims?
Well, things like saying photos showed the kids looking well-fed, or that Frank was actually a Boy Scout for a while, suggesting maybe things weren't quite as dire, as relentlessly bleak as the book portrays. Even his own mother apparently had issues with some of it.
So that forces a really important question of memoir itself. How did McCourt handle those criticisms? Did he defend it as pure fact?
No, and this is key. He consistently said, look, it's a memoir, not an exact history. He even admitted, kind of constructing scenes or maybe tweaking details for narrative effect.
So fabricating some parts.
He acknowledged that memoir relies on memory, which is flawed in artistic shaping. He argued it was an impression of a life, his truth as he remembered and felt it, not necessarily a literal blow-by-blow account.
Which really makes you think, doesn't it? About how we all remember things, how we tell our own stories. What's the line between memory and, well, storytelling?
Exactly. It opens up that whole discussion about the nature of autobiography and personal narrative. How much is fact? How much is feeling? How much is shaping a story to make sense of the past?
And the story didn't end with the book. There was the film in 1999,
Right, directed by Alan Parker, a fairly faithful adaptation, quite grim visually.
and then, maybe more surprisingly, a stage musical in 2017. That seems like a tonal leap.
It does, doesn't it? But apparently, it found humor in the darkness. McCourt's wife, Ellen, mentioned it, reminded her of things like Oliver. Or Annie, finding that sort of resilience and maybe even triumph amidst the hardship, a different lens on the same material.
So, wrapping up, Angela's Ashes clearly leaves this lasting impression of, well, incredible human resilience, that journey of finding yourself against unbelievable odds.
Definitely. But it also leaves us with that lingering question, especially given the controversies. What does it ultimately tell us about memory, about truth, about how we construct the narratives of our own lives?
Yeah.
How do those stories we tell ourselves, whether are perfectly factual or more uh, impressionistic, how do they shape who we think we are and
Yeah.
where we fit in the world? It's something worth mulling over, for sure.